What's going on, BE3? My name is Jonathan Scott. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. It means the world to us, and I hope you guys are just absorbing all the value we try to put out for you. Ultimately, it is for you guys to empower, educate, and encourage the real estate agent community. But today's Marketing Monday is all about Fsbos. How do you convert a Fsbo into a listing? Mike Puma today goes over all of the great pieces of tactical advice on how you can bring them value, which is ultimately the key. But also make sure you guys watch all the way through to the end, because he has a great piece of tactical advice that may set you up and be the step above that nobody else is doing. So guys, make sure you guys hit the subscribe button and the little bell. That way you guys are getting notifications every time we put out a new piece of content. Ultimately, again, to bring you guys value. But other than that, thank you guys so much for watching, and you guys enjoy the video. Thanks.
What are the most difficult issues that for sale by owners face when trying to sell their house? Getting the right price, 17% of them said that was their biggest challenge. This is the biggest one. Understanding and performing paperwork. That is a huge issue, 12% of them. Selling within the planned length of time, 5%. Time or money, we talk about that a lot. Preparing and fixing up the home, 8%. And then having enough time to devote to all aspects, which I actually think is probably way higher, and ultimately leading to why that 49% is not marketing.
I think it's not high enough on that list because they don't know all of the steps, all of the things, all
Correct.
of the marketing, all of the paperwork, all of the open houses, all of the scheduling, all of the inspections. They don't know that. So they don't even know the time that needs to be put in, which is why it isn't showing up as important.
Their aspects of the sale are, I didn't have time to stick a sign in the yard, and I didn't have time to hold an open house, right? Like that is literally what's going through their head. So, knowing this though, it's important that we understand where are their challenges so that we know where are areas that we can bring value without saying, hey, you should hire me to list your house, which is what 99% of the agents do when they reach out to them. So how do we find them? We all know the most common ways: you can drive by, you can find them on Zillow, and we can find them on Facebook. Driving by, how do we get them? How do we start communicating? Obviously, number one thing we can do, we can go knock on the door. You could, you should. Most of you aren't, right? For whatever reason, we're gonna hold ourselves back from doing that, or when you do, they're not gonna answer. And what I see time and time again, and we just had this conversation with one of the agents on the beach, knock on the door, no one answered. We said, then what? Well, they didn't answer. So, okay, that happens, right? But what if we grabbed our phone, stood in front of their sign, their for sale sign, and said, hey, just wanna introduce myself, I wanna stop by. Hey, I'm aware of some of the challenges that for sale by owners face. I'm not looking to list your house. I just want to be able to provide you some value. Give me a call when you get a chance. Boom. Guess whose cell phone number is sitting on the sign in the yard? Theirs. Text it to them. Now you've just made instant communication with that seller. And they will check their text. They will not answer their door.
What's the easiest part about that for you? There's no objections to it.
Right.
You're just shooting a video. That's all you're doing. You're shooting a video, introducing yourself. It's a soft introduction. It's not the call, hi, when do you plan on hiring a agent radio? No, never. We're never going to hire. It's literally, I just want to introduce myself, wanted to see how I can bring some value to you, see what questions you had, provide you some marketing information that could help you get your property sold. Said, here's my phone number. Give me a call at your earliest convenience. No objections to that at all.
The other step, now, we're not done yet though. Now we come back and we can use Remine, right? Go look up the address in Remine. See what Remine, now it's not 100% accurate, but it's better than nothing. See what they show as equity. See how long they've been there. Learn who they are, right? Now we have a name, we have an email, we have a phone number. Call them, okay? You already have their cell phone number. Call there's usually 2 or 3 numbers in Remine. Call the other ones. See who answers, right? They may not, but again, give the opportunity. But now we have some really interesting data points on that home. Now we know potentially how much equity, we know how long they've lived there, we know a bunch of different stats about them, so now we can start to bring value that's contextual to them. Right now I could create a flyer specifically for them. So that is now the next step. That's the kind of the ongoing step.
When you're doing this research on these properties, don't pass judgment. There's too many times that you're going to see someone and it's like the price is absurd. They're $50,000 higher than anything else that's sold in there. They're never going to sell. I'll just blow it off. Or you're looking at it saying, the Remine says they don't have any equity. They just paid last year this much for it. There's no way that they're going to get all of their money back. Don't think like that. They have a for sale sign in their yard for a reason, because they need help. They need to sell their home no matter what it is. I've had people that will have to bring $15,000 to the table just to close on that property to get where they need to go. And if I would have listened to that, to my inner thoughts saying, nah, they're never going to be, they won't be able to, they can't get here, I never would have contacted them. I never would have done the presentation, because I would have just blown it off as, now they got to bring 20 grand to the table. It's not going to happen. So don't pass judgment on any of those numbers. Your job is to provide value to them. They have a sign in the yard. They have to sell. They have to get somewhere. How can you help them? How can you provide value to them? How can you be their go-to person if they have questions, if they need help?
Obviously on Facebook, you can find them on Facebook. For sale by owners, just literally go to the search bar, type in for sale by owners. You're going to see a bunch of homes pop up. You can then click on them, see the profile of that seller, and learn something about them, okay? Then we can directly message them through the platform. So message them in Facebook. Again, bringing value. Hey, see that you're attempting to sell your house yourself? I have zero interest in trying to convince you that I should be your listing agent. But what I do know is that most for sale by owners face challenges. Let me help you. Do you need a copy of our contract? Do you need an inspector? Do you need an appraiser? Let me send you our appraiser who we use, right? Bring value. Now, the next step of this, when you're learning something about them, to Chris's point, one of the things that I think you need to spend time doing is go back and look at some of their recent posts, okay, on their personal Facebook page. A lot of times what you're going to start to see is you can discover the story, right? What led them to selling the house? Maybe there was a post about someone getting fired. Maybe there was a post about their parent being sick. Maybe there was a post about them getting a new job opportunity. Who knows? But you're going to start to get more pieces of the puzzle from their perspective before you even reach out to them. So now you still want to ask them for their side of the story and what's going on in their life and how can you help. But you already are going to have some insight on them leading into that conversation, because that may tell the missing piece of the puzzle. When you look at Remine and be like, they don't have any equity in this house, they're overpriced, what's going on? Then you see that their dad just died and they have to quickly sell this house, you're going to be like, oh, there it is, that's why, right? So to his point, don't cast judgment, but also do some research, right? For most of you, we're not talking about doing this on 100 homes, we're talking about doing this on 5, 10. But these are people that are really quality, that are obviously in the mindset of selling. So take the time to do it. Zillow, same thing, right? We're going to use socials to learn about them. So just because they're on Zillow doesn't mean you can't find them on Facebook. Doesn't mean you can't find them on Instagram. Go find them. Search their names. I guarantee you'll find them. The other thing that you can do, it won't work on all of them, but what do most people who are going to list their house on Zillow do? They list it on Facebook. So if you take the address from Zillow and type in the address in the search bar, you very likely may pull up that home that's now in Marketplace or been posted on their Facebook page. It will index that address. So it will search and pull them up. Now we have direct access to that individual, and then we can go from there and actually reach out to them, right? So it's all about just finding those connection points. But don't reach out to them before you do your research. Learn a little bit about them. See if you have commonalities. Right? Jeff always says you only need 3. That's it to start a relationship. Yep.
Usually if you're not friends with them, though, all you can really see is their profile.
It depends. It depends how restricted they have it. You'll be surprised. Most people aren't that restricted. If they have a full private profile, there's not much you can do about it. But if their house is listed on Marketplace, you still can direct message them. So still reach out. Don't let that stop you. You're just not going to have as much context, right, from Facebook. But you can still find them in Remine. You can still find out how much equity they have potentially. So there's still those things you can do. So don't let that stop you. So the ultimate for sale by owner plan for me is you knock on the door, you then shoot a personalized video and text that to them. You then go connect with them on social, do your research, collect data on them through Remine, use that data to create a modified SPA. What do I mean by that? If they have pictures, detailed pictures, and a description right? There's a couple very important things there. Number one, we can get a really good feel for what does the inside and outside of that house look like. Is it in good shape, okay? Then let me go look on the market and see what are they competing with? Let me go do that research for them. Let's see how their home compares from what I'm seeing. The other side of this is, as Jeff always preaches in Next Level, that description is really important. Read that. You're gonna get, just from reading that description, you're gonna understand what type of personality are they? Are they VAK, right? What words are they using? How are they describing the house? Because it's important when you reach out that you use those same words back to them. Hey, I see that you've updated to a gourmet kitchen. I love gourmet kitchens, they're beautiful, right? It's not a chef's kitchen, it's a gourmet kitchen because they called it a gourmet kitchen. Those are important. So now we can start to build a spa though, where maybe you run a full analysis for them. It's high level, it's not exact, and you can preface that, but hey, I wanted to do some research on your house. I just wanted to let you know that you're $5,000 higher than what I'm seeing. If time is more important than money, I wanted you to know that, right? But more importantly is this last step. And I would take all of this and kind of summarize it into this last step here. Create a personalized, full for sale by owner guide, okay? Something that you can hand to them. I would create a full thing that gives all of your contacts. So I would give first I would go into the property, what you know about it, the research that you've done on it. That spa, I'd put that in there. I would put all of your, do you have an inspector? Do you have a sample contract? Do you have an attorney, a real estate attorney that they should use? Do you have a appraiser? All of those things I would put in this guide. And it literally would be just a guide designed to guide them through the challenges you know they're gonna face, right? Now here's what this is really doing. Number one is bringing value. You're becoming a resource. More importantly, if this guide is done thorough enough, you're going to make them realize, oh shit, I am nowhere near being able to sell this house myself, because you're now establishing all the steps that it actually takes, and they're gonna realize that they're in over their heads, and you've brought them the most value, and ultimately that will lead to them reaching out to you to be the listing agent when they have that epiphany. No one else is gonna take the time to do this. So for those of you that will, right, if you actually will take the 30 minutes to an hour that it will actually take you to put a personalized plan together that you can then reuse over and over and over again, there's no doubt that this would pay off for you. But it's a matter of whether you're gonna put in the time and effort to do it.